Hey guys, welcome back to The Binger. If by some miracle you hadn't already heard, Disney is launching its very own streaming service, and it's going to be epic. As if the new Marvel shows announced weren't enough, Disney Plus is bringing back some classics, so we can all bask in the glory. You better clear your calendar and prepare for a serious movie marathon. Let's take a look at some of the titles gracing our screens. Robin Williams did some supreme work during his time on this earth, and we're not just talking about Aladdin or Mrs. Doubtfire. Flubber is one of his slightly lesser-known movies, but that doesn't make it any less entertaining. Released in 1997, the story focuses on a crackpot professor who comes up with a compound that's intelligent and incredibly bouncy. It's not a complex movie, but it does have its moments, like the little flying robot that keeps the professor's life in check. Can't we all have one of those, please? The comedy is still popular with kids, even though it's well over 20 years old. There's no mistaking that weird green goo, and frankly, it's been too long since it's been on our screens. Now that Robin isn't here to make any more cinematic gold, it'll be nice to see his supreme talent lighting up the world on this service. Mulan is one of the most underrated Disney movies of all time. Plus, if you think it had a powerful message way back in 1998, it's only been emphasized over time. In this crazy upside-down world that we live in, tales of powerful women stepping up to the plate are more than welcome. Based on the Chinese legend of MULAN, this flick introduced another Disney princess into the realm. There's a remake currently in production which is set to be released in 2020. So maybe that's why Disney Plus is going to feature the original. After all, without this one, there wouldn't be the upcoming live-action version. Let's just hope it still has all the songs we know and love, like Reflection. That's a real tearjerker. We don't care how old you are. Don't tell us you haven't wondered what the heck you're doing with your life at least once. On its release, Mulan became the second highest grossing family movie of the year, which isn't half bad. The best element of magic? We'd have to say Eddie Murphy as the mischievous little dragon Mushu. Nobody does sidekicks quite like he does. Star Trek legend George Takei also crops up as the first ancestor, so bonus points for that, Disney. Way before Lindsay Lohan became the poster child for Girls Gone Wild, she was one of the most commanding young stars on the planet. One of Lindsay's most popular movies to date is The Parent Trap. This 1998 caper was based on Lottie and Lisa by Eric Kastner and features a tried and tested tale of twins switching places. Little Lindsay played both of the main characters, while Dennis Quaid and Natasha Richardson stars as their divorced, long-estranged parents. Weirdly, instead of splitting custody, each parent takes one child, but whatever. Who are we to judge the wonderful world of 90s cinema? It's a cute movie with a happy ending, making it perfect for kids, but who are we kidding? It's so nostalgic that it's definitely going to be on our schedules. We just can't help it. This was also Lohan's first movie, and based on her performance, it's not hard to see why it catapulted her to stardom. Sure, her English accent is terrible, but she was like 12 years old, so we'll cut her some slack for that one. Who put the glad in Gladiator? Hercules! Ah man, it's that golden-haired god that for once we could all relate to. Not the son of Zeus part, but the part about being a bit of a teenage dope and making tons of mistakes. We've all been there, right? Hercules spawned many a Happy Meal toy and had us all singing along to the catchy tunes. All these years later, and the magic still lives on. One of the best things about Hercules is its impressive cast. Tate Donovan stars as the man himself, with Danny DeVito taking on the role of his half-goat, half-man mentor, Phil. This movie has so much energy, charisma, and just the right amount of cheese to make it quality viewing for the modern age. It really isn't any wonder that Disney Plus has added it to their roster. To leave it out would be a crying shame. If anything, it's just weird that the House of Mouse hasn't made more movies based on Greek mythology. There are so many awesome stories to work with that audiences would gladly devour. Like old Blue Eyes used to say, that's life. That's what people say. We're riding high in April and shot down in May. Ah man, that new Joker movie really is great. Of course, Frank Sinatra was talking about us humans and not the little bugs that apparently live in full-blown societies that are plagued by grasshoppers. We may have to worry about tax bills, but we don't have to worry about winged creatures bigger than us swooping in and taking our food. A Bug's Life is about Flick the Ant, who leads the charge against the greedy grasshoppers once and for all. It did incredibly well at the box office and critics loved it. They praised everything from the witty script to the voice acting. All in all, if you ask us, it blows ants with a Z out of the water. It also has a really colorful aesthetic, and who doesn't like colors? If we wanted black and white TV, we'd go back to the 50s. Dave Foley and Julia Louis-Dreyfus had starring roles, as does Kevin Spacey, who was still Hollywood's golden boy back in the late 90s. A Bug's Life is also based on one of Aesop's fables, so you can get a good dose of moral hygiene thrown in for nothing. 2 words. Bette Midler. There's a reason why Midler is dubbed the Divine Miss M, and it's not because she can tell the future. She's an incredible character actress, possessing more talent in her pinky than we do in our entire bodies. Mix her with Catherine Najimy and Sarah Jessica Parker, and you've got the most spellbinding trio in all of Salem, the Sanderson sisters. 1993's Hocus Pocus is a work of art, even if critics hated it when it was released. Over the years, it gained a cult following and is now largely regarded as one of the best Halloween movies of all time. It's a classic. Is there really anything better than a one-eyed book, a talking cat, and a friendly yet really grotesque-looking zombie man? This Kenny Ortega movie has them all. We just wish there had been a sequel. If you're looking for haunting laughs, bewitching emotional scenes, and old-fashioned witchery, look no further than Disney+. Want to see Tim Burton at his very finest? Soon you'll be able to stream The Nightmare Before Christmas whenever you like. When the world was introduced to Jack the Pumpkin King over 25 years ago, we had never seen anything quite like it. This was an animation that looked completely different from anything we'd ever seen before. It was dark, macabre, and kinda gross and oddly charming. Danny Elfman had a huge hand in its success as the composer and creator of the songs that are now as famous as Burton himself. Regardless of what time of year it is, there's never anything better than hitting play on this creature feature and bopping along to This Is Halloween, This Is Halloween. Anyway, funnily enough, Disney initially decided to release the movie through Touchstone Pictures, as they thought kids would find it too dark and scary. How wrong they were. Kids love that movie. We all love it too. It's pure genius and a true testament to the twisted mind of its producer. In our humble opinion, Pocahontas is one of the best Disney movies ever made. It's so slick with all those soulful tunes about following your own destiny. Plus, at its core, it's about 2 different cultures colliding, and the huge changes the indigenous Americans faced. Watching it as a kid, you don't really recognize it as you're more focused on the mischievous antics of the pet raccoon. Let's not even get started on Grandmother Willow because, wow. Can we all have a talking tree that gives us sage advice just growing in our backyards? Oh, and if it could grow $100 bills while it's at it, we would not be mad. Can you buy a plant like that at Home Depot? No, they'd probably just glue the $100 bills onto it like the cactuses. Let's not forget that this is loosely based on true events, which gives it an added element of kinda cool. The real story of Pocahontas is pretty messed up in comparison to Disney's version, but we'll take what we can get. Mel Gibson lends his talents to the part of John Smith, while Christian Bale is the lovable fool Thomas. Pocahontas is sure to be a jewel in the Disney Plus crown, especially for anybody that likes a good old singing song with Mother Nature. When it comes to stories that pull at your heartstrings while tickling your funny bones, there's nothing like a Roald Dahl tale. The esteemed writer created the likes of The Witches, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and Matilda. He's also the mastermind behind James and the Giant Peach. Disney released its screen version of the book in 1996, using a mixture of live action and animation. Roald Dahl passed away some years previously, but something tells us he would have really loved it. The story focuses on little James, who is treated horribly by his 2 aunts and ends up going on an amazing adventure with this magical giant peach. It's completely bizarre, while also managing to be more believable than you first think. It's the tale of an underdog, and audiences love those. Disney Plus will be streaming it with pride, alongside the numerous other titles we've mentioned. Go ahead, sit back, relax, and take a big old bite out of its juicy center. Just don't choke on all the things that live inside of it, because that would be a crying shame, and probably lead to some stomach issues. Who knows what that worm's been chewing on. Gypsies, talking gargoyles, the dainty animated streets of Paris. It's the Hunchback of Notre Dame. This 1996 movie is arguably one of the darkest stories that Disney has ever told. Based on the novel of the same name by Victor Hugo, it focuses on the persecution of gypsies by the evil Judge Frollo. Queen of the 90s herself, Demi Moore, voices the beautiful Esmeralda, who Frollo is obsessed with. Not just in the typical villainous way, but in the way that makes it really unsettling. He's basically just mad that he can't be with her, so decides to try and get her burned at the stake instead. Some guys really are that sad. Of course, it all works out well in the end, and Quasimodo and Esmeralda are BFFs, while she marries the really handsome, beautiful guy. Yay for happy endings. It may not be one of Walt's biggest ventures, but it's one of the coolest if you ask us. Best parts? The Feast of Fools and that epic song Esmeralda sings inside Notre Dame about helping the outcasts of the world. It's just so touching. Bravo for including this, Disney Plus. Bravo. Which title are you most looking forward to watching? Let us know in the comments below. Before you go, be sure to give this video a big ol' thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing from us. Until next time, thanks for watching.